Good morning and happy Wednesday. It's a glorious day. Sun is out. It's about 66, 67 degrees. Beautiful. Birds in the trees. Air pushing the breeze. Oh my Lord. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. This morning, I'd like to dictate to y'all about something that I would call female fit phobia. And I'm going to make the phobia begin with an F rather than a PH because that's just a classic alliteration that I don't think I can come up with again with a different group of letters. Female fit phobia. And what female fit phobia is the phobia females have of being fit. You know, I've been noticing this for a long, long time. And granted, I gotta say, in the lane of not all, not all women are like that, not all females are like that, in the whole no-alt acronym, you know, I want to exclude females that have medical conditions that exclude them from working out and getting general exercise. And there are some females who I know have a condition where no matter how many weights they lift, their muscles cannot increase in size. I don't know what causes that, but I do know that it exists because several years ago I coached an athlete who had suffered from that condition, you know, and no matter what she did, you know what I'm saying, as far as running, cardio, weight training, free weights and everything, she just couldn't seem to change her body. Her body wasn't horrible. Her body wasn't in need of change, but she was an athlete. So what she needed her body to do was perform. And so because her body couldn't change, it couldn't grow, her muscles couldn't increase, you know what I'm saying? She couldn't perform. You know, and so she eventually had to not be a student athlete anymore and just be a student. And for those of you who were student athletes and were into athleticism, you know, team sports and things of that nature, you understand how heartbreaking it is to not be able to participate, and it's not due to an injury, you know. So I felt for her like Shaka Khan and Prince, you know. I would give her a shout out, but you know, with what I talk about on this channel, I want to keep everything kind of, you know, anonymous, you know, and I don't even think she's going to even see this. But anyway, female fit phobia. I remember back in the 9th grade, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to play football in high school, be on the track team and things of that nature. And so, you know, with a sport like track, you know, it's everybody on there, you know what I'm saying? And you kind of want to have as many people on your team as possible so that you can have the best people in those positions, in those events for the meets to give your team the best chance of victory, you know? And so that was something that we understood early on because our team sucked up until my junior and senior years in high school. But what ended up happening was I would always solicit females, you know, girls that was on my team in my school. Yo, man, come join the team. Come get down with us. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's going to be fun. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. We're going to go to invitationals, you know, Balboa relays, you know, and we're going to get out there and we're going to do our thing. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times, I don't want to run track. I can't do all that running. I don't want to do all that. That's too much sun in the heat. That's too much in the sun. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because these are the excuses that you hear, and they become normalized to where you start asking women or females or girls or whatever in your school to participate on the team, and you can start to anticipate those same responses similar to a shaming tactic used by a feminist or a woman trying to make a man feel bad for not paying on a date or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it started to become one of those things that you could count on women to do, that groupthink, you know. One of my favorite ones, you know, when it came to women, as far as weight training, were when they say, well, I want to lift weights, but I don't want to be all buff and big. You know, and that always floored me, because it's like, I mean, really? You woman? You think if you work out with weights, you're going to look like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger? Really? Because if that was the case, there wouldn't be a skinny man or a fat man on the planet if it was that damn easy. You know what I'm saying? Why the hell you think it's so damn easy to be buff to the point where you're going to go from being and then from that to being like chiseled and swole? No. Because that was the case, like I say, wouldn't be a skinny man or a fat man on the planet. All men would look like He-Man if it was that easy to be buff. So this is the knowledge that women have, that they're just going to be buff. They're going to go from being obese to buff. Like there's no gray area. Even though they like to have gray area in everything else, but they seem to have no gray area in working out. It's just the extreme. So, you know, but this is what I noticed. You know what I'm saying? And I think it stems from the groupthink in such a hardcore fashion that not only do they not want to, I don't know, alienate themselves, but they don't want to exclude themselves. Like, you know, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to explain. Let me ponder for a second. Well, it seems after a little bit of ponderment that I can conclude that chicks are lazy. You know, they either know what to do and don't want to do it, or they don't know what to do, so they do nothing, which is the same thing. They don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm not talking about the ones who are athletes, and I'm not talking about the ones who don't work out due to medical conditions. So for any woman who wants to simply say, well, what about the ones with the thyroids and the what do we do? Nah, I'm not talking about y'all. See, because y'all are not lazy. Because you had to figure out through trial and error, through doing and no results, that you had a medical condition, or that a medical condition was a possibility until you were able to go get a second opinion by a doctor. So what happens is, these women, they're excluded. But I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that want to eat cake and eat this and eat that. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to lose weight, and they talk about losing weight. They go on diets that fail. They get hustled by all these little programs and things that are supposed to be right for them, but they're not, because it's designed to keep the people in money, kind of like the medical hustle. It's like a doctor never sells you the cure, because that will put him out of business. It's like cancer research. They'll never find a cure for cancer, because then the money won't come in for research anymore. Duh. So you have to understand that there's an element of hustle that people are dealing with, and you don't want to fall victim to it. You know what I'm saying? So chicks don't work out. You know what I'm saying? And one of the key things that you can look at and find for a woman who doesn't work out, because guys like butts. You know, white dudes like butts now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's not just a, you know, mix-a-lot thing or a black man thing. You know, everybody likes butts. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. I like butts. You know, but the thing about it is that you know, women pay so much attention to accentuating their butt that they fail to realize that there's other parts of their body that you know, that grow as well. So you have the butt that's doing what it does, and then, but what do you look next? You know, how do you know that that butt is actually a well-developed muscle group and not just fat? You know what I'm saying? Because the term is fat ass, not muscular ass. You know what I'm saying? The term isn't well-developed muscle group. The term is you want to have a fat ass. So with a fat ass, women they think literal. You know what I'm saying? You know, not all the time, but just when it suits them, they think literal. So when they think fat ass, they think fat ass. Like, I gotta eat. I gotta sit around and do nothing. And so what happens is that ass that used to look like 2 basketballs or 2 volleyballs ends up looking like half a rugby ball. You know what I'm saying? A deflated rugby ball. You know what I'm saying? And so what they do, they put on these little padded panties and these little jeans or whatever that, you know, make it look good, but it doesn't hold the shape. Because what holds the shape is the developed muscles of the gluteus maximus, the gluteus minimus, and the gluteus medius. These are 3 muscle groups that make up the gluteus maximus as a whole, the glutes. You know, and being a track athlete, being a track coach, I had to make sure that these muscles were at optimum development for peak performance. So I had to get behind, you know, chicks when they're in the starting blocks and make sure that, you know, everything was working properly. What a job. Anyway, so these chicks, you know, these are the ones that understand, you know what I'm saying, that develop. But the ones that don't, that want to get injections and all these things, it's hilarious because they're doing more damage to themselves than good, and they don't seem to understand, you know. And so, like, for instance, I was watching I think it was a Dr. Miami or something like that, but it was some doctor, a legit doctor, and he was giving a woman some butt injections, and he went through the whole process. He talked about where he was taking the fat from her belly and her midsection and putting it into her butt to give her the fat ass. You know what I'm saying? This is a doctor. And so after the surgery was done, he showed everything, and what he did was he said it's going to take her about 8 weeks to recover. $10,000 and 8 weeks of nothing to recover from surgery. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, you dumb bitch. All you had to do was go to the gym and do some lunges and some squats for 8 weeks, and you would have saved $10,000 and had the butt you wanted without having to recover, because your recovery time would have just been the time it took to develop it. You know, because this is the gym. But this is, you know, how women's fit phobia, female fit phobia. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid of being fit. Now, why are they afraid of being fit? Well, because if all women were fit, could you imagine? If all women were fit, if all women were sexually attractive, you know, I'm not talking to the point where you have the BBWs and then there's the fetishes of the men who like BBWs, or the men who can't get anything but a BBW. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, you know, if they were truly banging to where every chick had every dude's head on a swivel. You know what I'm saying? On the real. That would be hardcore. That would be gangster. You know? But what would happen, what would result in that would be, what would differentiate one woman from the next? If all women were attractive, right? Because see, right now we got ugly bitches and fine bitches. You know what I'm saying? And then there's shades of gray in between. There's okay bitches, there's fugly bitches, like there's all kind of bitches in the middle between fine and ugly. But fine and ugly are things that you differentiate between. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I want a fine one, I want an ugly one. Okay, cool. But if they're all fine, how would you decide which woman was right for you? What will be the defining factor in picking the woman that you're going to be with for the rest of your life if all women were attractive? I'll tell you, it's personality. It's personality. And I'll tell you, guess what women don't have, for the most part? A personality. Yeah, I know it sounds mean. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But you show me a woman with a personality. You know what I'm saying? Ask a woman what she wants. You know what I'm saying? And if she gives you an answer, it'll be a regurgitated answer, an answer that you heard before. or an answer that's, oh, yeah, well, I just want security, and I want somebody who's gonna love me for me. Somebody gonna love them for them. You know what I'm saying? They never love us for just us. You know what I'm saying? How many dudes have been broke? You know what I'm saying? And you ever want a woman to just love you for you? But no, she'll love you for you if you got the money. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the whole thing. They don't have personality. They don't have to have personality. Just think about it. You got a cute chick, or even an ugly chick. You know what I'm saying? A dude is thinking about tapping. So a woman will need help, and rather than teach her how to fish, he'll just give her the fish. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants to be, yeah, I helped her. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you know, that's why dudes white knight, hoping that it's going to get them a score. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't happen. Sometimes it does, depending, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that woman might be that it happens. It does, you know what I'm saying? Not always, and it's not the best case scenario. And then what you end up with is you wake up next to crazy. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, without personality, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that differentiates is whether they're attractive or not. And they don't want to do that. That'd be too much work. And then it'd be competition. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll have to lie and say, you're pretty, to them woman that ain't pretty. Because that's their hustle. They hustle beauty. They hustle the lie. They hustle the illusion. So they sit there and tell other chicks that they're pretty and that they're beautiful when that's not the case. And at the same time, it might be the case. They might be pretty, they might be beautiful, but they might not be somebody that a man wants to marry and pay rent for the rest of his life. Now that's the one of the factors that, you know, women neglect to understand. Is that, yeah, okay, some dude is gonna want to hit it, and if that's all you want, is just some guy that's gonna hit it, well, you'll find plenty of dudes that will oblige you. However, when you're tired of paying your own rent and tired of doing all these things for yourself, you're going to want to do that's going to want to do it for you. And all these years of just having random sex with random dudes who don't care, who tell you what you want to hear, you're not going to understand why you can't land a husband. It will escape you. You won't even understand it. And it won't be your fault. It'll be the fault of all those women who told you how beautiful you were. And all those dudes who told you that you were pretty, but they never wanted to wife you. You know what I'm saying? And all because you were so happy to be told what you wanted to hear rather than the truth. And understand, the truth isn't always going to be palatable. Medicine doesn't necessarily taste good, but it helps. So this is how I feel, and this is what's going on as far as, you know, what I see as the female fat phobia. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And remember, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any details to a story, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and put them in the bottom. And oh yeah, if you didn't know this, I'm on Patreon. So hit me up at Patreon, become a patron, and help me out so I can give better broadcasts and podcasts and associate with other people. Because I'm doing this on a cell phone, and everything is limited. So, you know, go ahead and help a brother out. But remember, if you like what I say, give it a like, share, subscribe it. But if you don't, you can always open your mouth and let me know how this dictate.